right from the mind or right from the heart. Okay, so you know the literary genres. What are the literary genres? Modern literary genres. There are novels, short stories, poetries, and dramas. Okay, so these are called modern literary genres. So, as I told you, from the mind or from the heart. So these all four genres coming out of what? Mind or heart? Ah, mind? Yes. From mind? Mind? Heart? Only heart or mind also? See, if you say from mind, then from mind we can't have these four categories. Okay? Then you will find as production or product something else. That is, suppose uh, you are writing something related to history or political science or some science things, related things. Okay? Suppose there is a calculation 2 plus 2 equal to 4, 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. Okay? So once you knew this calculation, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 over. Nothing else after that. Suppose book of a mathematics or book related to history, sociology, pole science, these books, once you've gone through, you knew the message, over. These things come out of your mind. Okay? By that way, we differentiate what is coming from the heart. The things coming from the heart, that we concern more. When you read any literature means pure literature. Okay? How you will differentiate between pure literature and the other literature, common literature? Then the term comes of the heart. And heart, how it comes from heart? Suppose something you saw or we saw, or any happiness we feel, or any grievances, sadness. The sadness come from heart. You loved some special one, when break up, and emotion, too much sadness, nothing. You don't like anything else to do that time, only some crying or something. Okay, or isolating from the other friends. Okay, so that is feeling, emotion, enthusiasm. Okay, that is the first element. There are four elements we need to have these genres. Okay, out because of those literary genres elements, we can differentiate between pure literature and simple literature other than the literary journals. Now you tell me, what are the elements? How many? What kind of elements needed? Anyone? All are literature related or well, Sanskrit?
Social work.
Social work? Social work? Okay. Sanskrit? Sanskrit? Sanskrit. Okay. So Sanskrit, suppose you read something, some novel, short story, and history, or drama. So how will you differentiate? So these are the 4 elements are there. Okay. This is very important basic thing. What is literature or pure literature? Because here in higher education, suppose MA, there is no graduation. So MA, what we do? We don't teach language. We teach literature. Okay. Maybe in Sanskrit, I don't know, but in our department, Arabic, we are just dealing with the literature, no language. Language learning is something else, basic things, grammars, this, that. I'll come to that point later on. Let us know this as I started teaching. So the the elements. What are the elements? First element is feeling, emotion, enthusiasm. Okay, that is called in Arabic, we say al-atifa wal-wijdan wal-ihsasat. Okay, ihsas so you also use in day-to-day in Urdu it is used. And then imagination. Once you get feeling or enthusiasm, then you imagine. Al-khayal in Arabic. Imagination. You find something in your heart, then you imagine. What do you imagine? Something you imagine. Then after imagination, you will find fikra, that is thought. Okay? Heart, mind, thought. Okay? Imagination and then thought. After thought, the shakl, that's called in Arabic shakl, that is text or words, sentences. Okay? So we came to know that the literature or pure literature, that is the result of the emotion, feeling. Then that will go to mind, imagination. You will think, imagination. Okay? And then you think about what? How I can express these feelings in a better way, to use the appropriate words, to use the appropriate phrase, to use appropriate sentence. Okay? And as I told you, the other literatures, those there you don't find emotion. Emotion is missing. Okay? Emotion is missing. That's why this literary journals, whether short story, whether novel, whether poetry, these things are, you can say, dawam. You will find dawam. Dawam means forever. A literary person wrote something that is written forever. Forever means it will not change. Even the same person can't change that, because that is involved emotion. That emotion was found that time only. That's why it has its own effect. That's why you take some novel and read. First time you just completed reading, you enjoyed, you got some feeling. Second time again you read that same book, you will find different kind of feeling. So that will be forever. This is the difference. Okay, and uh, that that feeling, emotion, make it the forever. Is forever. Okay, so these are the four elements, and by measuring the literature, measuring the literature using these. So you might have gone through some criticism related to criticism. Okay, in criticism you will find all these things are needed. How you will differentiate that this this text is okay, good, or what is its level, whether actually the emotion is involved or not, or it is he just took from somewhere else and his own emotion is not involved. Okay, so this is the thing. Anyway, now come to the challenges. How to, what are the challenges to learn the languages? Okay, so as we know, mostly since we are in teaching in higher education institutions, so there are so many challenges. So out of those, some we can identify that the first thing, as we generally understand that, okay, we came to the classroom and started giving information. Okay, and suppose earlier without blackboard, without using chalk. Okay, later on chalk and talk. Okay, and uh, in the modern era, modern age, now we have many options. Okay, so many teachers may not be using these sources, technologies. Okay, so how to make the language interested, for whom? For teachers or for students? Obviously for students. If they will not get interested, then they will not learn. Even good thing you are expressing in front of them, they will not acquire. They will not attentively, they will not listen. Okay, so what we have to do as a teacher, what we have to do? Yes, any input? What should I do, or what should we do to make the language interesting or more attractive? Okay, generally what we do, sometimes very traditionally, not traditionally means the old way of teaching. Okay, suppose just expressing. Okay, just giving the input, not getting output from them, not interacting with them, okay, not involving them in the class, okay. So how we will be able to make them attentive so that they can give full 100% attention to the teacher, what he is telling. If he is not interested, then anything and everything he will tell will go west. Okay? So, with giving the information, the first thing we have to, or as a teacher, has to identify the student. Okay? Not only teaching by, but identifying the students, their natures, what kind of matters they want to learn, or what kind of uh, uh, things adopting that they will create interest in the students. So these things are needed. Suppose they are not knowing what is the outcome of the subject. Okay, outcome of the subject. So if they know that, okay, this language will give me something what I can't achieve without knowing language. Okay, so the interest, if they are having, then you have to give them the way. What are the things? As I told in the beginning, the skills, core skills, input, output. Okay, so for that they have to listen, they have to read and speak as well, and writing as well. The problem with the foreign language is different than the other native languages. Suppose Sanskrit. Okay, Sanskrit in the medieval period, I think its use was limited. Okay, was limited. Gradually, its importance means reducing gradually. In the same case, the Persian was flourished or was used more and more in the medieval period. Why? What's the reason? Maybe reason behind that, official language was Persian. Many documents are still there in the Persian languages in that period. And Sanskrit before that, later one also were there, but some its intensity or its volume become less. Now again it is coming out more and more, using more and more. Okay, even some villages here, as I heard, that Sanskrit language is spoken by everyone. It's surprising. So awareness, use, outcome, interest. Okay, and this Indian knowledge system will flourish this more and more. People use more and more, learn more and more, interest more and more. When they know, they will know that the contribution or the base of the other languages is Sanskrit. Okay. Likewise, when we see the like in my subject, Arabic, that is very old, but in modern period, during suppose 2 centuries or 3 centuries, these are modern periods. In these periods, different kind of literature came out, okay? And earlier in the pre-Islamic period or Abbasid period, some different kind of literature were there. But still we go through those, especially poetries, Islamic poetries, very much valuable. And those poetries or literature, based on those literature, grammar came into existence. If you give some example that whether this is correct or not, supporting in support of grammatical points, even we use those verses are very old, classical. Okay, there are so many things anyway that is not possible to discuss in the this class. So likewise, Sanskrit also. Okay, likewise other languages. So it has its importance. So that is needed to express or to give the input accordingly to the student, so that interest increase. Okay, when interest increase, then sometimes what happen? Okay, students are interested, but the way of teaching, way of giving them knowledge is not accordingly. Suppose here sometimes that we feel frequently that syllabus we try to make the syllabus in such a way that we think that this is more standard, okay, more standard and equal to the other places where the native learners are there. Okay, but the same thing if you implement for non-native students, that effect will not be the same, not the same. By that way, if students having interest, even then they will not acquire. Okay, then what happened? If there is no student interest, then they will go out of the class. They will not attend the particular class. Okay, then ultimately loss of the language. Okay, so that part we have to take care, and not only the materials. Okay, identifying the students, involving the students. That's why interactive classes should be there, and sometimes visualizing the showing some animations, some videos, okay, related to grammar also. Okay, grammar. The grammar is okay. It is also needed, but not that much. That because of the complexity of grammar, sometimes interest lessen. Okay, so imposing too much grammar is not fruitful. Let the students know the basic structure of the sentences. Okay, beginning with the easy words, small sentences, which are used in day-to-day affairs, then only interest will be increased. Okay, and learning is not only for the students, for the teachers also. How the syllabus will be prepared? Okay, what kind of syllabus? What will be the topics? What will be the names or characters? Familiar characters should be there. Okay. In Arabic, sometimes we find that the examples, grammatical, to show the grammatical points, some examples are given. Some common examples are given. So those examples are just used right from the long year back. Okay, and the same one. For example, when Daraba Zaidun Amran. Zaraba Zaidun Amran. Zaid is subject and Amr is object. Okay, and Zaraba is verb, subject, object. Okay, so the same, to show the grammatical points, that subject should be vowel point zamma, that is O, like, and the object will get the vowel point fatha, that is called a, like sound. Okay, so the same, so you can say that always, that means Zaid beat Amr. So one can say that why every time Amr will be beaten? In example, Amr is every time beaten. Why? Why the same example every time? Different examples should be used, so that by that way different words, different verbs, okay, will be known. So these are the ways to create interest among the students. Okay, so there are other things. Suppose one example I got from some article, that that non-native the native non-native speakers, they suppose that example given by an English teacher, okay, teaching English there in Arab countries. Okay, so there very difficult to make them acquire the pronunciation, the interest. Okay, and generally what happened there, the syllabus followed by the Western countries, okay, English countries, where they are native, uh, they speak English, their mother tongue is English. So it is said that how the syllabus of standard 1 or 4 or 2 or 5 can be equal for native students also, as well as non-native students. Okay, so interest is lacking. And other than that, their pronunciation. They pronounce like bark, like park. We use park, they use bark. The difference is pa is not there in the alphabet in Arabic. Ba. So they use ba. Then again, one example given that society teachers uh, teacher teaches society. So they pronounce like society. Society. Telling that why in cat C is pronounced ka. Then if we pronounce society, then why it is so? So this kind of many kind of things are there to cope up with the challenges or problems. Okay, so these problems are varied in place to place. Okay, place to place, and there are other things, but I think time will be yeah, anyway. So as from the heading or headline of the workshop is related to research also. So I wanted to just express little about the research. So there are many kind of research, comparative research and uh, other research, yeah, quantitative research and qualitative research, and that
Experimental research also.
experimental research, and then in comparative also superlative and equal. These are the kinds of research. So I try to convey about the comparative research. What is comparative research? Okay. So yes, please. So definition, comparative research is a research methodology in the social sciences exemplified in cross-cultural or comparative studies that aims to make comparisons across different countries and cultures. Like a comparative research, as in the literature also, and that is related to maybe social science also, yeah, we compare with some maybe related to literature, some writer, this writer and that writer, and his products, suppose novels or short stories or dramas like that. Okay, next, yeah. The purpose of comparative research. Comparative research methods are long been cross-cultural studies to identify, analyze, and explain similarities and differences across societies. And whatever the methods used, research that crosses national boundaries increasingly takes account of a socio-cultural setting. Okay, so by that way we can know the other countries, what is happening, what kind of things are going on, and what is related, something is existing here, and they are also comparing. So a broad information or research is done out of that, not concentrating only the same place where we exist. So that is the purpose or something like that. Yeah. Next, comparative research design. This involves the use of comparison to develop fundamental theories with significant generality and relevance. Goes to further to provide theories which explain the cases being studied. For example, development of theories of industrialist, social revolution, etc. Next, the kinds of comparative research. These includes descriptive, basic, explanatory, and comparison of relations and comparative explanatory questions. These four type of questions differ in the degree of sophistication in regard to explanatory ambitions and have different requirements in terms of quality and quantity of cases. Okay, next, comparative research in quantitative research. Comparative research questions aim to examine the differences between two or more groups on one or more different variables. Okay, although often just a single dependent variables. Next, how is a comparative research done? There are two main approaches to organizing a comparative analysis. Alternating point by point method, find similar points between each subject and alternate writing about each of them. Block subject to subject method, discuss all of the first subject and then all of the second subject. Yes, next. Three types of comparative research. These are equal, comparative, and superlative. Yes, next. An example of a comparative method. Dawkins' study on suicide was an example of the comparative method. By comparing official statistics between various societies, he argued he was able to identify that was evident in one society and not in another, which might cause suicide. Yeah, next. Is a comparative research experimental? The causal comparative research is an alternative to experimental and quasi experimental designs. But the distinction with experimental research is an important one. In general, experimental designs involve some manipulation by the researcher of a causal intervention or treatment of same kind. The characteristics of comparative method. Comparative method seeks evidence for adaptive evolution by investigating how the characteristics of organisms, such as their size, shape, life histories, and behaviors, evolve together across species. They are one of the evolutionary biology's most enduring approaches for testing hypothesis of adaptation. Two types of comparative, qualitative and quantitative. Two methods of go back. Next, just a minute. Difference between comparative and next. Basic steps of comparative study. Comparative case study process consists of some stages such as explanatory study, selecting topic, case studies, and theoretical tool and framework, ethics process, in-depth interview, coding process, and finally analysis, interpretation, and reflection. Yes, next. Is comparative study qualitative and quantitative? Yes, next. The tools used in comparative study. The most well-known analytical tools are the R, Python, SPSS, Weka, SS, etc. To acquire the methods of data science like predictions, extractions of knowledge, finding the patterns, etc. Have several languages tools in the market. Yeah. The advantage of a comparative method. It has been documented that the main advantage of comparative method is that it makes the study of politics more structured and conclusions derived with this method are more precise. Yes. Is comparative study qualitative? Yes, qualitative. Yeah, next. Correlational research example. Correlational research can provide insights into complex real-world relationships, helping researchers develop theories and make predictions. Example, investigating a non-causal association. You want to know if there is any correlation between the number of children people have and which political party they vote for. Yeah, next. The two example of correlational research. Consider hypothetically, a researcher is studying a correlation between cancer and marriage. In this study, there are two variables, disease and marriage. Let us say marriage has a negative association with cancer. This means that married people are less likely to develop cancer. Okay. Research design is best. Comparative studies, the design options are experimental versus observational and prospective versus retrospective. I think this much is next. Nothing is there, I think. Yeah, next. Thank you very much. These are the few things I wanted to share with you. And there are other things also, but I think that's all from my side.
Thank you very much, sir, for your deliberation. And if any questions or feedback or anything from the participant side, please, you are all welcome.
Yeah, if you have any question related to this.
Good afternoon, sir. I have a query. Actually, I was listening to the lecture, but it was difficult for me to understand because I am not related to the field. Sir, actually, I want to know that you have talked about different types of research. So can you explain me or explain us what is quasi-experimental research and how it can be applied in evaluating or in terms of humanities? In the field of humanities, how this quasi-experimental research can be applied. Thank you, sir.
That actually, what I can say, that I have to go through in detail about that actually. Okay.
Sir, actually, your lecture was very thought-provoking. You used certain terms which was quite ambiguous for us. We did not understand the difficult terms. That's why I asked you the questions. So anyway, sir, in future, I'll try my level best to get it from internet or other sources. Thank you, sir. Anyway, don't mind, please.
Yeah. Some Persian, Urdu, Arabic, Persian, Urdu, Arabic, और क्या वो तो जनरल ये तो कॉमन चीज है.
और किसी का कोई यदि कुछ और प्रश्न हो और कुछ अगर उनको कुछ इसमें ऐड करना हो, क्योंकि हम सब एज अ टीचर हैं और नहीं बस
And as our very my dear colleague Govindji was telling that if anything related to Persian, Urdu, and other languages. So as these are the common things, as I told you about literature, and when you go for the comparative research, then generally we compare, as I told you, suppose some novels written by some particular writer. That novelist may be related to India or some other countries. Like for example, in Arabic, like Hafiz Ibrahim. Hafiz Ibrahim is Egyptian writer and patriotic writer. And in Bengali, suppose here in India, Qazi Nazrul Islam. So Qazi Nazrul Islam, he is also a patriotic poet or writer. So a comparison between these two. So how we can get some similarities or dissimilarities or differences in the writing of Hafiz Ibrahim and Qazi Nazrul Islam. So likewise in Urdu, maybe some novels written by some novelists here in India and other places in India, suppose Pakistan or anywhere Urdu is used more and more. So by that way, the things are similarities are there. Likewise, other language like Hindi also. Okay, so that is, and likewise some poetry, suppose, and some particular aspect also. Suppose women issues found in some particular novel or some novels, and the same women issue found in the other places or other writers, and similarities, dissimilarities, differences can be highlighted. So by that way, comparative research can be done in other languages also. Thank you.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. आपका सर आगमन हुआ और आपसे हम एनरिच्ड हुए. बहुत कुछ अपने कंपैरेटिव लिटरेचर के बारे में, कंपैरेटिव स्टडी के बारे में, कंपैरेटिव रिसर्च के बारे में आपने उल्लेख किया. सत्र के अंत में with a token of love, with a token of appreciation, we want to felicitate you. Thank you very much. So next session अगले वक्ता शायद 5-7 मिनट में ज्वाइन करेंगे और उसके बाद हम स्टार्ट करेंगे. इस बीच में आप लोगों को कोई फीडबैक संबंधित या कुछ और तरह की कोई समस्या तो नहीं आ रही है फीडबैक भरने में? सेशंस रिपोर्ट शायद आप लोग सब सबमिट कर दे रहे हैं. और कल असाइनमेंट भी दिया जाएगा जो आपको जिसके आधार करके उसका मूल्यांकन किया जाएगा. और लास्ट में एमसीक्यूज कुछ क्वेश्चंस होंगे, कुछ एक टेस्ट होगा, उसी के आधार पे आपको बाद में सर्टिफिकेट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया जाएगा.
इतने सेशन, इसके बाद एक सेशन और है, अभी एक और है।
तो ये सत्र हम यहीं पे समाप्त करेंगे। समाप्ति से पहले औपचारिक रूप से सर का वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए
डॉक्टर अजीत मोदी।
अनुरोध करूंगा मैं डॉक्टर अजीत कुमार मोदी जी से कि
हेलो।
अजीत सर आप वक्ता का।
मेरी आवाज आ रही है सब?
ये
जी,
से
जी,
सबसे पहले तो मैं आप सभी को नमस्कार करता हूं और असम विश्वविद्यालय के सभी टीम मेंबर्स के प्रति अपना आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि आपने मुझे डॉक्टर मुस्ताफिजुर रहमान सर का आभार ज्ञापन हेतु आमंत्रित किया है। सर का व्याख्यान मुख्यतः भारतीय और विदेशी भाषाओं के अध्ययन में आने वाली चुनौतियों और उनके समाधान पर केंद्रित रहा, जिसमें भारतीय भाषाओं के संदर्भ में सर ने हिंदी, संस्कृत इत्यादि भाषाओं का उदाहरण देते हुए बताया कि इन भाषाओं का आधार मुख्यतः भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा पर केंद्रित रहा है। और साथ ही सर ने विदेशी भाषाओं और भारतीय भाषाओं के अंदर पाठ्यक्रम निर्माण की प्रणाली पर भी अपना व्याख्यान केंद्रित किया। इसके साथ ही प्रोफेसर रहमान सर ने अपना व्याख्यान तुलनात्मक अनुसंधान पर भी केंद्रित करते हुए विभिन्न तुलनात्मक अनुसंधान विधियों के संदर्भ में हमारा ध्यान आकर्षित किया। अतः सर का व्याख्यान बहुत ही ज्ञानवर्धक और सार गर्भित रहा है। अतः सर का मैं बहुत ही आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और हमें समय देने के लिए सर आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद आपको भी।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
ये ठीक।
हमारे अगले वक्ता कुछ ही समय में जुड़ेंगे। प्रोफेसर कृष्णन कुमार कौशिक जी, जो कि जामिया मिलिया इस्लामिया से हिंदी विभाग के पूर्व अध्यक्ष रहे हैं। कल भी उनका व्याख्यान हुआ था और इस व्याख्यान के अंत में जो वोट ऑफ थैंक्स देना है उसके लिए मैं किसी एक वॉलंटियर्स का वो नाम चाहूंगा कि जो आप में से कोई यदि इस व्याख्यान में वोट ऑफ थैंक्स दे सके। हमने जो पूर्व निर्धारित किया हुआ था उन मैडम को थोड़ा सा एक समस्या है उसमें वोट ऑफ थैंक्स उस समय देने में। तो आप में से यदि कोई और इस सत्र के अंत में वोट ऑफ थैंक्स देना चाहे।
मैं कर सकती हूँ सर। महाश्वेता।
महाश्वेता देवी, डॉक्टर महाश्वेता। ठीक है, ओके मैडम। हमारे अगले स्पीकर हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं। सर नमस्कार।
सर आपको अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा। अनम्यूट कर सकते हो गौरव? सर आपको अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा अपना
माइक सर अनम्यूट कर लीजिए।
माइक अनम्यूट कर लीजिए सर। सर माइक अनम्यूट करिएगा। समझाइए।
सर आप सुन पा रहे हैं क्या?
हाँ।
सर लेकिन आपका फोन सर म्यूट किया हुआ है, माइक म्यूट किया हुआ है। सर एक माइक का सिंबल है उसमें मोबाइल में, आप प्लीज उसको टच करने से वो अनम्यूट हो जाएगा।
सर हम दिखा रहे हैं आपको, यहाँ से दिखाएंगे, आप अपने फोन में देखिएगा। सर हम आपको सुन नहीं पा रहे हैं क्योंकि आपका माइक ऑफ है वहाँ पे।
हम सर यहाँ से मोबाइल का वो दिखा रहे हैं आपको, स्क्रीन शेयर करके। इसमें मोबाइल का स्क्रीन शेयर।
सर सर आप अगर स्क्रीन देख पा रहे हैं,
वो ऊपर में
शो माई स्क्रीन। हाँ सर, इस स्क्रीन पे आप देखिए, नीचे आपको कर्सर दिख रहा है, वो माइक का है। उस पे हम कर्सर घुमा रहे हैं, वैसा आपके पे भी होगा। उस पे क्लिक करने से ये ऑन हो गया।
बोल रहे वो कर चुके हैं, ऐसा कुछ बोल रहे हैं।
कैसे करें? सर एक बार कोशिश कीजिए। वो हमें समझ नहीं। सर हम आपको फोन कर रहे हैं, आप एक बारी फोन उठाइए। हम आपको कॉल कर रहे हैं, हम आपको कॉल करते हैं, आप एक बारी कॉल उठाइए हमारा, तब। सर हम आपको फोन कर रहे हैं, आप एक बार फोन उठाइए सर। सर हम आपको फोन कर रहे हैं, आप एक बार फोन उठाइए।
एक काम कर सकते हैं, नहीं बोल रहे, अगर यूज कर दो हम सब बात कर लीजिए, फिर बता के फिर इनको ज्वाइन करवा लीजिए।
कर दीजिए एक बार म्यूट कीजिए।
बता दीजिए तो म्यूट तो
सर आप ज्वाइन तो हो गए हैं, पर वो आपका अनम्यूट नहीं है अभी भी। हाँ
हो
अब
गया।
ठीक है सर। हाँ 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 सर।
वो नीचे सर शो नहीं कर रहा था। हेलो,
अच्छा हाँ हाँ
आवाज
सर, आ रही है सर, आ रही
आ
है।
रही है सर, भैया
आ रही है सर।
आपकी आवाज क्लियर है।
एक मिनट में दरवाजा बंद कर दूं थोड़ा सा डॉक्टर साहब, एक सेकेंड। हेलो जी सर,
हाँ सर।
आवाज आ रही है?
इस सत्र में प्रोफेसर कृष्णन कुमार कौशिक जी का पुनः स्वागत है। कुछ तकनीकी कारणों की वजह से हमें थोड़ा इस सत्र में विलंब हुआ। इस सत्र को अविलंब ही हम आरंभ करते हैं। डॉक्टर नयना गोस्वामी जी से अनुरोध है कि सर का स्वागत करें।
संक्षेप में कर दीजिए सर।
सर सर्वेभ्यो सर्वाभ्यश्च नमो नमः. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Good afternoon to one and all present here in the 28th lecture session on the 5th day of the 2-week refresher course on recent trends and challenges in teaching and research in language studies and social sciences and Indian knowledge system perspective, organized by Department of Sanskrit in collaboration with the Department of Social Work under the aegis of Malabya Mission Teacher Training Center, MMTTC, Assam University, Silchar. On behalf of all the participants, I, Naina Goswami, the Assistant Professor, Department of Sanskrit, Kachar College, Silchar, Assam, would like to welcome our esteemed resource person, Professor Krishna Kumar Kaushik Mahasai, for his deliberation in this session. Thank you so much, sir, for your gracious presence. It is my great privilege to introduce Professor Krishna Kumar Kaushik Mahasai, who is the former HOD and Professor of Department of Hindi, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Sir has contributed to the field of Indian literature with his scholarly works, many books and his scholarly writings, as well as research-based works. He has received many honorary from different institutions for his expertise in the field of academic and professional career. Like yesterday, as we had been enlightened by his knowledgeable deliberation, today in this session also, we hope that Sir will inspire us with his scholarly and thought-provoking lecture on the topic Bharatiya Gyan Samvardhan में संत साहित्य के योगदान. Thank you so much, sir, for having us, and we welcome you. I welcome you in this session. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
धन्यवाद. आपका भी स्वागत है और अधिक समय ना लेते हुए हम आज के विषय पर चर्चा करेंगे. भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के संवर्धन में संतों का योगदान. ये देखने में बड़ा सहज विषय लगता है, लेकिन ये सहज है नहीं. मैं भारतीय शब्द से तो आप सब परिचित हैं, उस पर नहीं, लेकिन ज्ञान शब्द जो है वो हमारे लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. कि आपने गीता का अध्ययन किया होगा. गीता के 4थे अध्याय में 38वां श्लोक है, न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशम पवित्रहम विद्यते. तो ये इस संसार में ज्ञान के समान पवित्र करने वाला निस्संदेह कुछ भी नहीं है. इस संसार में ज्ञान ही सर्वोच्च है. उस ज्ञान को कितने ही काल से कर्मयोगी के द्वारा शुद्ध अंतःकरण वह मनुष्य अपने आप में ही आत्मा में पा लेता है. ज्ञान को जब आत्मा में पा लेता है, भेद कहाँ रहा. इसलिए इस ज्ञान शब्द को लेकर जो संत साहित्य में चर्चा रही है, मैं उसके कुछ वचन साहित्य से, देखिए संतों का अध्ययन आपने किया है, लेकिन मैं जहां से कुछ शब्दों को कोट कर रहा हूं जो वचन कहलाते हैं, जो शरण परंपरा है 12वीं सदी की. कहते हो जान गए, परंतु कैसे जान गए बताइए. जिस ज्ञान को पाना संभव नहीं, उसे पाकर ऐसे रहते हैं मानो कुछ जानते ही नहीं हो. अब देखिए, ज्ञान को व्यक्त नहीं किया जा सकता. ये मौन किस चीज का प्रतीक है. आत्मा सो परमात्मा, जिसको ज्ञान हो गया वो उसमें लीन हो गया. ये सहज नहीं है, बड़ा कठिन कार्य है. ऐसे रहते हैं मानो कुछ जानते ही नहीं। दक्षिणामूर्ति स्तोत्र में शंकराचार्य का एक कथन है, मैं उसका सिंपल से एक पंक्ति है, इस संसार में उसकी सर्वोत्तम अभिव्यक्ति मौन है। तो जी मौन जो है, इस मौन को समझना ही उस सत्य को जानना है, उस ज्ञान से रूबरू होना है। और दूसरा एक वचन है, उसमें संकेत किया है, ज्ञान ज्ञान रट लगा रहे हो। क्या ज्ञान आसान है? बीते पथ का अवलोकन किए बगैर। यहां एक चीज पर आप ध्यान दीजिएगा कि अतीत, वर्तमान और भविष्य संकेत है, और ये संकेत परंपरा से भी जुड़ा है। बीते पथ का अवलोकन किए बिना, जो बीत गया उस पथ को जाने बिना क्या हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं? तो बीते पथ का अवलोकन किए बगैर वर्तमान पथ को समझा नहीं जा सकता। जिस पथ पे हम चल रहे हैं, गुरु ने एक हमारा मार्ग प्रशस्त किया है, उस पथ पर हम अनुकरण कर रहे हैं, उस पर अनुगमन कर रहे हैं। तो ये कहां से मिल रहा है? हमें परंपरा से मिल रहा है। अगर हम दो और चीजें देखें, एक आता है मीन मार्ग, एक पक्षी मार्ग। पक्षी हवा में उड़ रहा है, क्या अपना कोई चिन्ह छोड़कर जाता है? मीन मार्ग, मछली पानी में तैर रही, क्या पीछे कोई चिन्ह छोड़कर जाती है? लेकिन हमारा एक सौभाग्य है कि गुरु हमारा पथ प्रदर्शित करता है, हम उसका अनुगमन करते हैं। इसलिए यहाँ उस परंपरा का भी संकेत है। वर्तमान पथ को बीते पथ का अवलोकन किए बगैर, उसको जाने बिना वर्तमान पथ को समझा नहीं जा सकता कि हमें किस मार्ग से गुजरना है। भविष्य के पथ को समझा नहीं जा सकता। देखिए, वर्तमान आ गया, भविष्य और बीते हुए में अतीत है। बीता हुआ अतीत, वर्तमान, भविष्य, और ये तीनों स्थितियां हमारे लिए महत्वपूर्ण हैं। भविष्य के पथ को समझा नहीं जा सकता, एक पग भी स्थिर नहीं हो सकता जब तक हम पथ नहीं जानेंगे। और इसको आप देखिए, हजारी प्रसाद द्विवेदी ने संकेत में कहा है, जब आपका एक कदम उठता है, एक पैर उठता है, दूसरा आपको उठाना ही पड़ता है। इस चीज पर आप गौर कीजिए, बिना उस कदम को उठाए क्या आप आगे बढ़ सकते हैं? ये हमारी प्रकृति का एक सहज नियम है। आपने एक कदम उठाया तो आगे बढ़ना, दूसरा आपको उठाना ही पड़ेगा। इसलिए एक पग भी स्थिर नहीं हो सकता। अगर हम स्थिर रखेंगे तो आगे कैसे बढ़ेंगे? उस ज्ञान परंपरा से कैसे रूबरू होंगे? भूमि छोड़कर आकाश में स्थित होकर बादलों में बिजली चमके बगैर अपने को जानना संभव नहीं है। जब तक उन अवस्था से हम नहीं गुजरेंगे तो क्या हम उसे जान सकते हैं? इसे कबीर कहते हैं। कहां उन्होंने अपना घर बनाया कबीर ने? आकाश को क्यों चुना है? और कबीर से पहले इसी को संकेतों में, अपने उसमें शायरी में रूमी ने कहा है, बिल्ट योर नेस्ट इन नथिंगनेस। कहां बनाओ अपना घर? जहां किसी चीज की आवश्यकता नहीं। आकाश में अपना सामान इकट्ठा कीजिए, क्या आप कर सकते हैं? बिना खिड़की, बिना दरवाजों का घर आप बना सकते हैं? इसका जो आध्यात्मिक संकेत है, बिल्ट योर नेस्ट इन नथिंगनेस। इस संसार की जितनी भी वस्तुएं हैं उनसे आपको परे होना होगा, मुक्त होना होगा। अनल आकाशा घर किया, मध्य निरंतर वास। कबीर जो कहते हैं अनल आकाशा घर किया, कहां अपना घर बनाया है? और इसमें एक पक्षी का नाम आ रहा है। ये पक्षी हवा में ही अपने बच्चों को जन्म दे देता है। अनल आकाशा घर किया, उस पक्षी के दृष्टांत से आकाश में अपना घर बनाया है। अगर आप इस सांसारिक वस्तुओं के मोह में पड़े रहेंगे तो उस ज्ञान को नहीं पा सकते आप।